Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good evening.
Good evening, yes. Welcome along to the first, slightly later of your two episodes of the comedy show where we take a look at things that have been in the news, the problems of the news. And we could cover any kind of news. We could do arts news, for example, that one of Monet's lily watercolour water lilies paintings being sold for £29 million. What? For that much money, you could get an actual lily. For that much money, you could get someone called Lily. So I don't understand art. Also, there's American, which is more Eric stuff. You might get some American politics. I was trying to catch up with some today, and I read that according to a survey, actor Matthew McConaughey tops a list of people that your Texans would like to be Texas governor. And I just wonder, what kind of politician would he be? Would he be like a socialist left-wing, or would he be alt-right, alt-right, alt-right? No, I'm willing to go home after that joke. I think I've peaked.
This is what happens when we're half an hour later when we start the live stream.
Already drunk.
Just already a little bit tipsy. So welcome. So for those of you who are watching us live, we are starting just a tiny bit later for various reasons. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. You're on the channel. We'll be on the chat later on as we go through things. That's always very important. And if you can like it as you go, that's nice as well.
Do some like-ins, and every so often later on we'll start mentioning the Ko-fi link, but more on that later. And also, if you are chatting, get involved in the conversation, but also towards the end of the show, if you have a problem you'd like us to solve, we'll have a crack at that at the end. Why not? Why not mix it up?
Steve and I have got a total of 4 problems that we're tackling to solve the world's issues, but you feel free to give us more. That's an absolute gem of an issue.
Spread the link. Right, let's get stuck into it. Mr. Eric McElroy, I think it's time to say what you're going to solve.
Well, I'm very excited about this one, Steve, because it's a long-running problem that we have, and that means it has its own intro. Woo! That's right, Steve. It's time for some London mayoral action. I'm liking it. Now, last time we did this, I actually ate a banana. I was going to consume a different form of fruit today, but I've already reached my calories.
Oh, it's a shame.
So, I know that the demand was there. The public wanted it, but I'm afraid the public can't have what it wants.
Good.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. But this is part of a long-running segment where we look at who's running to be the next mayor of London. And in the hot seat today is the Burning Pink Party. Steve, have you heard of the Burning Pink Party?
Is it a medical condition?
It is not. It is what I look like. It is after I've been in a warm summer day without sunscreen. Yeah. I will admit that. You do think, you wonder if that's what the party's representing. And then you start to think maybe this is how my heart will be after the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I believe the last episode is this Friday. Or is it just the party for everyone who's alone on Valentine's Day? Oh. I don't know. I don't know. Is there anything else that would burn you pink, Steve?
That would burn my pink?
Yeah.
Carpet?
That's a good one. That's a good one. This is their website right here, so we can see some of their key things that they're interested in. Is it's people over politics, which is nice for a political party because that's what they need to vote for them. And one of the key things that we're going to notice about the Burning Pink Party is that they are really into having a London run by a citizens' assembly. That is a crucial point that is going to be a bit of a theme throughout it. They do have an actual candidate. Her name here is Valerie Brown. Here she is on Twitter. She seems absolutely lovely. She says there in her bio that she's running to be the last mayor of London, which I think has something to do with the Citizens' Assembly. But I hate to break this to Valerie, considering she's only got 1,072 followers. I think she may be running to be last in the race to be mayor of London.
Almost the same.
It's almost the same. Because if you look at some of her rivals, Steve, you can see here, even Count Binface has 21,000 followers. Somebody who's a garbage can has got more people paying attention to them in the race to be the next mayor of London, which is that's a bit tough, I would say. But, she's got, maybe that's what's making her heartburn. But they do have, I want to look at the broader party, because this is a party that many of us haven't heard of, because I don't think I don't know who's heard of them. Not that many people have heard of Valerie, bless her. But they've got an interesting vibe, a very positive vibe.
It's not about the winning, it's about taking part, as my mum used to say. Yeah.
Yep, I think that's going to be the focus. Is taking part is really the core, and it's nice, that they've got that as a strategy. Because I mean, I don't know if there's a participation award in politics, but they've got this done as a long-term strategy.
A 5-year project.
What year are we on right now?
This is year 4.
Year 4. Good luck.
That just sounds a little bit snarky to me, doesn't it? It's like, oh, good luck. 4 years into a 5-year plan, and you've got 1,072 followers for your mayoral candidate. Now, that's a video that's actually on their campaign website. So I think they kind of know where their place is. But let's learn a little bit more about Valerie herself in her own words.
I am Valerie Brown, London's mayoral candidate. I'm here in Kensington High Street this morning, this very chilly morning, because people, the council are going to remove the cycle lane.
That's right. I'm here. It's cold. I care. I think that's the main themes that she's coming across with there. So they're there to fight for these cycle lanes. I mean, of course they are. I mean, they're going to be for cycle lanes, aren't they? That's what the burning pink represents. It's what your bum looks like after you've been on a long bike ride.
Oh, now I get it.
I think I cracked it. Yeah. She has managed at this protest there, because they're looking at removing the cycle lane in Kensington, to find an actual representative from the current and the future mayoral office.
Tell me something. I mean, before the decision was made by the council to construct the cycle lane, do you think it would have been a good idea to ask the locals in this area, through a citizens' assemblies, what they would like?
There you go, Steve. She's hit him with the Citizens' Assembly right from the start. He's a representative of Sadiq Khan's government. How does he react to the sound of a Citizens' Assembly?
Would that have avoided?
He's out of there. He's not having it. He's like, no, we know what the citizens will do. We're going to be running this town. Pretty much a strong reaction that he is out of that. So let's have Valerie tell us exactly what a citizens' assembly means to things like having a cycle lane.
London city government is failing to listen to the people. If I'm elected mayor, I will set up citizens' assemblies where residents will work together with experts to figure out what is best for the people.
Okay, so there we go. Citizens' Assembly is about talking to the people, looking at an issue, in this case, a bike lane, and having them decide, once we've heard what the people of a particular area want. I mean, that sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it? So she's going to actually, in this video, which is on her campaign official pages, she actually takes that and puts it into action. How many politicians do that? She say, here's a concept. We want to save this cycle lane. Let's talk to some of the locals who are going down this actual
Think
road.
of the new cycle lane.
I'm not a fan of them, to be honest. I really ain't.
Okay, that's just one guy. He's a bus driver. Clearly, he's got to go down that road every day. He probably doesn't like the cycle lanes because they take up a lot of space. Let's find somebody who's an actual local resident who lives in Kensington.
How do you feel about the new cycle lane?
I think it's really creating so much pollution that is not helping at all with the traffic in High Street Kent. It should be removed in about.
You live in this area?
I live just around the corner.
Okay, all right. Well, she's no good to listen to, is she? Because she lives in Kensington. She's wealthy. She's probably in her big old SUV. She doesn't care about, people and cycling and that kind of stuff. We need to talk to somebody who's really salt of the earth, a working class kind of person.
How do you feel about the new cycle lanes?
Oh, it's horrendous, isn't it? Absolutely horrendous. It's not. If an ambulance needs to get down here, they've had it, haven't they? Absolutely. It's just gone great.
Okay.
Yeah, I say, I'm out, love. I'm out. I'm sorry. I can't really help you out here. So basically, Kensington's reaction to her cycle lanes is this.
Avoid it.
No comment. We really don't want them. So there we go.
Yeah.
Apparently burning pink is actually what their party looks like once they're actually putting their actions to their words.
Yeah. I mean, when she said she wants to be the last mayor of London and has the word burning in the political party, I'm scared. So I'm glad it was just about cycle lanes. I also love the fact, the bus driver's not going to be interested. He's got bus lanes. He's already sorted for lanes. I'm all right, Jack.
That's true.
But I did like the van driver who was like, it's gone green, I've got to go. Clearly that guy's not a cyclist if he's waiting for the traffic lights to tell him to go. Two worlds apart.
Yeah, we know how you feel about the cyclists.
I like
Not
cyclists,
with it.
other than the ones
Yeah.
who go through red lights. No, I like cyclists, but I like rules more. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's going to be it.
The kind of guy I am.
So, I mean, we've got Burning Pink. You know, they've got a heart-based fire. We got the Phoenix Party with Renew. And then we got the Bend dude.
Yeah, I mean, great coverage. This is the place where people are going to come for, because we are actually sticking to the rules about fair representation of all candidates, way more than your average media. Mainstream, I call it lamestream media, unless I'm on it.
Yeah,
Then
exactly.
in which case I'm quite polite about it. But now you want to come here for your London, I believe it's by Eric pronounced mayoral election campaign information, right here.
Saying it right,
Mayoral.
aren't I? Mayoral. Mayoral.
But you're going eel.
That's because I've only had one banana today.
Well, who's doing who wants to do the comments today as well?
I think it's my turn. So we'll welcome people in. Britt says, evening all. Mark says, this feels darker somehow. Do you feel like it's...
Late
Is this comic solving problems after hours?
Triple X.
Chris has really misunderstood things. He said, morning, everyone. So
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Yeah, he's watching the 9 a.m. in the morning live version, not the repeat at night.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. And are we going to be talking about the European Super League?
Well,
you know,
You
sport.
might get a mention. Stay right there. You might be
Ooh.
surprised.
Did you use, because we've got the
The
sports,
sports jingle.
We'll find
I can
out.
play. I
got the sports
don't use the
jingle.
sports jingle in the piece, but I can play.
Should we do it a little bit
I
now?
can play you the sports jingle. In fact, we could
like the
both play you the sports jingle now we've got the technology. But for when we cover sports, which is so often, you will see us do this.
Sports. 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 Sporty sports. Sports.
But we won't mention it much today. Not a lot of sport.
It's good that we played it because we're not really going to cover it. Let's see here. Shades of North Carolina is here for the new time. And Tracy's mentioned the fact that it's a school night.
Later on a school night. Ooh.
Late on a school night. And let's see. I've got no joy booking a Barrett trim then. No, I'm going to keep it going. I'm thinking... Is that Barrett trim? Have I said that right?
I can't see the comments.
Barnett trim. There
Can
we
you
go. Barnett trim.
Because he's speaking the same language as people who speak in vans going, sorry, mate, got to go. It's green light. Yeah.
So for the people watching in North America who speak the New English, what is a Barnett trim?
Barnet comes from the Cockney rhyming slang. High Barnet, as in getting your highlights done.
Really?
No. No, it's so much more fun to confuse people about Cockney rhyming slang when they're Americans. Because they'll buy
no
anything.
idea. They're talking about swats and swats as well. I've got no idea what that's
School
about.
night, being a SWAT.
What does that mean?
You know what we'll do with this later on as well.
Oh, good Lord. 20 years I've been in the United Kingdom. I still can't figure this shit out. No banana tonight. Martin was a bit worried about that. He thought it was banana time, but I've got told off.
Late night
for eating the
banana
last
time.
one.
It's truth.
Yeah, Britt says, thank God, no late night banana ASMR.
Yes. Although, to be fair, the episodes where you did fruit-based ASMR have got more views than the others. So maybe there is a niche out there of people who want to see you getting all slurpy with a soft fruit.
Yeah, and I can make a recommendation if you want to see some weird ASMR. There's a woman who does an ASMR as Wonder Woman,
actually,
saving someone from the rubble. Yeah, she doesn't. It's not sexy. It's not a sexy sex thing. It's just she's just
anything sexy if you try hard enough.
Bearberg says, morning, 10 o'clock already. Morning. Damn, the summertime came late this year. It's always getting the times wrong. And we've got quite a few here. So I'll just do maybe one more. Steve, if you want to burn your pink on the carpet, I'm an office manager of a carpet store in Romford.
That is the best offer I've had for a while. And actually, that's Tracy. And I think, Tracy, you were the person that I did the terrible comment when I was doing the radio show yesterday, day before, whatever it is. I think it was Tracy who requested a song. Anything. It was the question. She emailed in something like, how about some booty love? And I said, it's very good of you to offer, but I'm at work right now, and I'm amazed I get away with things like that. Like today, for example, we were trying to do songs that link up to the word Diana, and I said, if anyone suggests that song by the Primitives, I'll get fired, because they did a song called Crash, and I don't know how I'm still getting away with it. I don't know. It makes no sense.
Because no one's listening?
Because no one's listening. That's literally the only way I get away with the jokes that I do. The same reason I get away with doing them on this show, because no one's watching. Everyone saw the early one.
We'll do this comment here before, because there's a couple more on Valerie and the election. Bearberg says he's voting for Brian Reel, who's the kickboxer guy, if you want to check that video out. He says that when Brian wins, we'll be allowed to rent out Buckingham Palace for DMT ceremonies. We need American approach to British problems.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
There we go.
Beautiful. Right, so you can keep the messages and comments coming through. Also, if you're enjoying the show, there's a Ko-fi thing right there. You could chuck some money in the pot, and if you want to give us a problem to solve at the end of the show as well, now's a good time to do that. However,
yes,
I want to try and solve the problem of, let's do it. Let's talk about the big issue that people are upset about, European Super League. And they covered the reaction to it. And I've got to be honest, my reaction to the European Super League was, it's so exciting. I can't wait for this. Oh, my days, it's going to be great. But that's because I thought the European Super League would be something from Marvel, like a new superhero thing.
Yeah.
Like Captain America, like the Avengers, but more European. So instead of having like Iron Man, it would be Monsieur Baguette. Do not fight with Monsieur Baguette, because I will cause you pain. Or it is spelled like pain, no? But it turns out, no, it's some crap about football. But this is what's happening. Boris Johnson has said he's called it a cartel. He's really against it. I thought that's amazing, because a lot of people have said this is about money. It's all about money. It's not about football. Although, to be fair, you know when a 19-year-old gets transferred for like £250 million, that's quite a lot to do with money. Just is. Numbers are telling me this is more... Because there is not that much different between football and rugby. And yet, why is one massively popular all across the world? Money. There's money in it. So I'm not at all surprised that a bunch of people are trying to get together and make some more money. But Boris Johnson's normally in favour of that. And I thought, why is he really going against this idea of the European... there it is, the European Super League. Because he knows there'll be some members of the people who vote for Boris Johnson who will hear this about some sort of European Super League, and they'll say,
You what? I thought we'd voted out of Europe.
So that is the big worry for them. And it's amazing, because I honestly believe that's one of the reasons Boris Johnson is taking a side on this. Really, it should just be it's about football, and let football sort it out. It's a good idea, it's a bad idea, I don't know. But it's amazing how the legacy of whether you should leave or stay still informs political decisions. What's it doing on the other side of the thing? What's Sir Keir Starmer doing in terms of trying to work out about leaving or remaining? Well, he has been forced to leave because he was thrown out of a pub by someone down in Bath, a landlord. Now we've got some clips of it. There is so much going on in these clips. I've got them in little chunks. Here's the first one.
Get out of my pub! Go on!
Just that, go on. It's like when you try to scare a cat out of the back garden. Go on, get it. Get it. But then, so that's the landlord. He's not happy that Sir Keir's in his pub. What else does he say?
Thank you. I'm sorry, I am the landlord. He's the landlord. That man is not allowed in my pub. He's the landlord. I'm not going to physically hurt him.
The word physically is the problem there. I'm not going to physically hurt him. You don't need to. That makes it more of a threat again. It's circled back. I'm not going to physically hurt him, but I'm going to mentally mess this guy up. I'm going to say, Keir, you sound like you should be in the car park. Ooh, like stuff like that. That really gets to him. That'd really hurt. There's also, when we see more of the altercation, one of my favourite bits happens at the end of this clip.
Get out of my pub! Calm down.
Sorry, can you keep out of the way?
Thank you.
Get out of my pub! Thank you. How terribly British. But that is the coverage on the BBC, which you have to admit the BBC covered it well, because it got a lot better when they did this.
Get out of my pub! Go on!
Calm yourself down.
Get out of my pub!
I love that story. This guy, the reason he was so upset with Keir Starmer is because he was offended that Keir hadn't held the government to account more about the issue of lockdown and questioned whether lockdown was really needed. This landlord didn't think we needed all the rules and all of the hit to the hospitality industry. So he threw him out of his pub. It's really weird because throwing someone out of your pub has just made your pub more COVID compliant. That's the last thing you wanted. Get out of my pub, get in it. So yeah, that's the situation we're in. Okay, I must admit that whole piece, which was meant to be about the European Super League, really wasn't, was it? But that's because I don't understand sport.
No one does. It's not a real thing. That's why it doesn't matter.
It's actually not.
Like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's real. Yeah, that's important.
Which episode
Super
are you
League
up to?
sports.
Have you seen? So you're waiting for the last one? Or did you see the one where he uses the shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And throws it around and hits the trees.
That's the thing. If ever he gets attacked by a bunch of trees, he's gonna kick some bark.
He's gonna kick as long as his enemy stands still and grow for like 80 years.
Yeah. You can bounce that shield off their face.
Battle them all.
Tell you what, if you suddenly put the Falcon in Lord of the Rings, that'd get messy. Some of those trees. Or in Doctor Who, you know, with the old the angels, where if you blink, they move closer. Just don't blink and keep throwing the shield around. He could kick some.
You have mentioned one of the only episodes of Doctor Who that I've actually seen.
How have you not watched more? Don't watch the David Tennant ones and then watch the Peter Capaldi ones. That's it.
Yeah, I've told you I've never watched them, so I don't know where to start. It's just too overwhelming. It's too much.
Just jump straight in. David Tennant, Peter Capaldi. Watch the one, I think it's called The Tower or something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically just him in a building where he keeps the day. And I always like any film or TV show where the day resets, like The Edge of Tomorrow and all those kind of. Love that. Watch that episode. Top tip.
Thanks. Glad that's what this is about. It's about show recommendations. I have to say, going back to your man who doesn't like the European League.
Yeah.
Is he also a taxi driver? Because he looks a lot like the taxi driver that was interviewed in my first bit.
He does. When I used to film those clips, I used to do them deliberately in my car so I looked more like I was a driver. But I also couldn't be bothered today and forgot my flat cap. But other than that, the production is going into this show. It's worth every penny.
It is worth every single penny, which is why we'll put the Ko-fi link is in the comments again. Let's try and catch up with those, as a matter of fact. Let's see here. Intrigued, Mark is intrigued. Oh, this is going back to the cycle lane. Intrigued by the idea that cycle lanes cause pollution, which is what the Kensington Posh lady was saying. It's a bit like saying trees cause forest fires.
Yeah.
You know, it is true.
It's because it squeezes all the traffic into one lane.
You wouldn't.
No, but I think
without trees, you wouldn't have forest fires.
Yeah. But also, I think the cycle lane theory is because you take up road space, so that means you get stop-start traffic, and petrol engines kick out more emissions if they're stop-start rather than ploughing on at 45 or 55. One of those. It's got 5 in it. Yeah. The average, the good speed has got somewhere 45 to 55 miles an hour.
I think they haven't worked as well as they thought they would, the cycle lanes. This is from Canada. I'm guessing community development equals citizens' assembly, and it's been around here for a super long time. And look at what a shit show Canada is.
Citizens assemble. Who wants to be asked all those questions? I love the idea of ask the people, but imagine every day you get some other like today, earlier on, I've recently changed broadband providers, and they sent me an email saying, would you fill in this survey? I was like, nah. They sent me another one. I was like, nah. And today when I started the afternoon show, I thought, oh, just do it. It says it'll take 10 minutes. An hour and 10 later. What was the reason that you thought of changing? For the love of God, I didn't finish. I gave in. Imagine that, but about cycle lanes every day.
Shouldn't have done it. Chris has given us a new method, soccer ball method.
Is that what I was doing?
That's what he said. Super League, European Super League by Marvel. Nice idea. Balkan Man and Belgian Boy.
That could work.
It'd be good. Bayerberg says, what is this football you speak of?
Exactly.
A gentleman enjoys modern expressions of physical activity. Formula One. That's a proper sport.
Is it? Is that what it goes on? Okay. It's driving around, right?
Darts. That's for me.
Formula One got worse when they introduced the cycle lanes. That's when it took a turn.
Yeah, definitely. Right into the... Because the cyclists on the race would never stop when they waved the flags.
You're waiting for the lights to go beep, beep, and they're off. Like, what's these gigs? Wait for the green one.
They're cheating. So Britt says Bojo is only peef because he can't slaps a tax on sport. Pissed off. It's Peeooff.
I'm loving the episodes when you read the comments. I like this.
I'm a very literal reader, and I skip words. All right. Mark says a Marvel European Super League from the Netherlands, Klogman and Schachtal.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Now we're going by country to figure out what the superheroes would be. Oh, that would be a fun episode if we did that.
If you wanted to do country-based stereotypes to make sure we never work again. Yeah.
It's fine. It's cultural.
The German would be the bad guy. It's as simple as that. We know that.
Yeah, it's going to be. Or he's going to be the one to make sure all the other Super League heroes get there on time. That's a positive stereotype. We can do that. I lived in Germany for a year. They ran the trains on time. Britt says Doctor Who audiobooks are also fab.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
If you're looking for a different way to approach the whatchamacallit.
Keep it going. I'm driving.
Who.
Beautiful work.
And there we go. So do remember, if you're watching, to like the show, because the little thumbs up is always nice in the YouTube algorithms, and we appreciate it. And if you are flush with that furlough money, that sweet, sweet furlough money, or whatever else you have floating around, and we appreciate it if you can buy us a drink, buy us a Ko-fi, and we'll say thank you live on the show. So as we've said to Martin, Tracy, Jack, and many others who bought us a drink or bought us something over the year.
Beautiful.
The year.
Right.
The year that we've been doing this.
And keep some problems coming in there as well. We'll solve one at the end of the show. But, Mr. Erich McElroy, I believe we turn to you to say what you're solving in this one.
Yes, and this is a problem of the 100-day benchmark, Steve, because Wednesday, the 28th of April, is the 100th day of Biden being president of the United States.
He made it to 100.
So the media...
Oh, I owe you 20 quid.
He hasn't made it to 100. His presidency's made it to 100. Yeah. But basically what this 100-day mark, is the media's arbitrary deadline to look at his successes in this stupidly short amount of time. I mean, what could possibly happen in 100 days? I mean, remember the last guy, his first 100 days? I mean, what happened? I mean, this was on day one.
Photographs of the inaugural proceedings were intentionally framed in a way to minimize the enormous support that had gathered on the National Mall. This was the first time in our nation's history that floor coverings have been used to protect the grass in the mall. That had the effect of highlighting any areas where people were not standing, while in years past, the grass eliminated this visual.
The grass is the natural enemy of a Republican administration because the grass equals green, which equals AOC. Never forget.
Didn't help Kennedy either, did it?
No, it did not. Stay away from the grassy knolls and Inauguration Day. Can we do that joke? Is it too soon? Basically, things can obviously go wrong in the first 100 days, as we saw there on day one of the Trump administration, early on in the Trump administration as well. If you remember this, he had to fire his NSA advisor because he had enough time in the first 100 days to lie to the vice president. I mean, that's not a very good start to things. What else happened? Oh, yeah, Trump invited the Russian foreign minister and the ambassador into the Oval Office and gave away secrets. So, although I do want to be fair, because I know that, we'll get somebody who's a Trump supporter who watches the show, that was actually on Trump's 120th day.
Oh, give the guy a break. Jeez.
I need to give the guy a break. But we're now talking about President Biden, right? And so what's Biden been up to all this time with his first 100 days? I mean, he's only golfed once. What's he been doing?
Folks, I have good news. Everybody is eligible as of today to get the vaccine.
All right, fine. So he's delivered on his promise for the vaccine. I mean, what did Trump deliver on?
We have pizzas, we have 300 hamburgers, many, many French fries, all of our favorite foods.
It's very good to stay in your wheelhouse, Trump. Trump had delivery pizzas. Biden's had vaccines. That's what these things, they're good at. So looking at these two approaches now, measuring the first 100 days of Biden's presidency, how is he doing in the view of the American people, having done this whole vaccine thing? Well, it looks like he's doing pretty well because he's at 59% approval, which Trump never got to those levels. So it's interesting. You give people vaccines in the middle of a pandemic, and they like you for it. And again, I want to be fair and balanced, Steve. So it's not like there has been controversial moments in the Biden presidency so far. And actually, by controversial moments, I actually mean controversial moment. Oh, it's always that third trip. That's the one that really gets you. Just just stop and catch your breath the first time. Don't just go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So that's been the worst thing that's happened so far, And it's not like, again, let's compare that against Donald Trump and some stairs. There he goes. Oh, look at that. It's a little bit of toilet paper stuck to the old shoe because it's just a reminder that everything Trump touched was kind of shitty.
Nice.
Yep.
Which is good news for Melania because he never touched that.
I think it did. That's why her face was so frozen.
Oh, dear. I think that was just the haunted memories of, making that kid.
That was it. So there you go, Steve. 100 days.
I mean,
what do you think?
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed it?
I am still shocked by how little we do American presidential stuff on the show, given to what it was like last year.
Yeah.
It was Trump.
Because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. If I wanted to do a silly parody song, what's Biden done that I could do some silly song about? Nothing. Fallen down some steps. Yeah, that's it, really.
It fell up the steps.
Up some steps. And also, I keep watching that, and half of me is like, oh, no, I shouldn't laugh at someone who's old falling downstairs. That could have been really nasty. Like, at his age group, falling is the most likely cause of death. Like, gravity is his biggest fear right now. This is why he could be the one to tackle guns, because he's got more to fear from just Newtonian physics than he has from guns. He could actually get around to doing things. Why he's bringing people back from Iraq, because, all these soldiers, what's his biggest fear in life? Gravity. So he's got a different perspective on things. Yeah. But
for JFK, it was the grassy knoll. For Biden, it's the grassy hill.
Yep, a couple of steps. Although I can just see there's already a suggestion on a comedy song that I could do. From Mark Randall. As soon as you're doing the comments, I'll let you spot that one. Oh, no.
All right. I'll catch up with that. That's after where we at the audiobooks. Could we have Gollum as ESL president?
European Super League president, kind of. Yeah, let's cross over to the president now.
It's because we're stupid.
Well, I can't think. I don't know anything about football. What would president say?
No one knows. No one can know. Stephen Leatherdale retracted a message. I always love the retracted messages. What did he say? Mark says, keep away from my precious VAR.
Okay.
Now they're talking to each other.
Precious VAR is stupid.
And Chris has said, not me, Gov. It was the Hobbities. So
that's probably like...
It was the Hobbitses.
I don't feel like I'm getting it as much today. It's weird.
No, it's just you gotta. Mark says you won't have any Trump supporters on here. You use long words.
Yeah, Hobbitses is quite a long word.
And here's Stevens come back with his retracted comment. He says Trump's presidency was obviously doomed from the start if he had his chips in the first 100 days.
Hey, he's had his chips. Nice.
Mark says Trump did get close to the 59% rating. Oh, sorry, I misread. I thought it was 5.9.
I could just see another comment, which actually is really on point. If I dare to step on your toes on this one, because Britt says, was Biden holding a pocket sock square? The socket square. Previous viewers, regular viewers will know I invented, you put a sock in the pocket square thing, you've already got a sock when you need it. He wasn't actually, I don't know which clip it was, but he was holding a mask. However, that's what the new pocket squares are. They're masks, because why did I not think of this when there was a pandemic on? If you need a mask, the Mocket Square. Available now on all good websites, as long as it's Amazon and it's my page.
Is that an N95?
It's not technically one, but I can write N95 on it if you want.
Yeah, there you go. Because that doesn't do it. If you color in the mask, that doesn't make it more protective.
Well, maybe it does. I mean, you say that.
Maybe it does.
Science. But
we don't know.
I realised the problem with a socket square is that there was one in there, and you normally need two socks. Where not for everyone, but the mask, the Mocket Square. Oh my God, how is that not a thing? We should
You
make.
just got to be careful you don't have a little string dangling out, because that looks like something else. I think we've gotten to the songs that you were talking about. Stairway to Biden.
Yep. And he's climbing a stairway to Biden.
Or I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down.
I remember actually when I was still doing radio back then when Phil Collins fell down some stairs. Do you remember that? And he was quite ill with it, so I felt bad for doing the jokes on the day because we didn't know how bad it had impacted him. But I remember doing, what was it? I can hear him falling down the stairs tonight. I shouldn't be allowed on the radio. I don't know why.
That's a good thing. No, as long as no one's listening, you're fine. And let's see. Did Biden get a carpet burn there? Burning pink.
Ooh.
He's a member of the Burning Pink Party. And Bayerberg says, come on, Trump had those rugs woven each time he needed them. Biden reuses whatever he can. Even Air Force One stayed untouched. Imagine how embarrassing dropping a deuce in the air in a golden toilet is. That's true. I mean, that's the problem with having to use Air Force One or anything connected to the White House after Trump's been in there. That's not going to be pleasant. That needs a proper airing out. And Stephen says he was trying to retract message again. Euro superhero 431, the Green Landon. The Green Landon.
Green Landon. Although Mark also, I could just see does another Phil Collins one. Sudi ouch. That would have been good. Where were you when I needed to fill some drive time? Typical.
There we go. Right. So think about your problems if you'd like before the end of the show. If you'd like to buy us a drink or something, that's very much appreciated. The links are there. Otherwise, just tell people about the show. Check out the little mini clips we've been putting out there and subscribe. And Steve, you've got, I think, the one last problem.
Yeah. I'm solving a problem. Look, as someone who likes a bit of sci-fi, gets mentioned a lot, how do we feel more engaged with the news for the sci-fi people of this world? And it's been almost a good news cycle for us. There have been some stories that almost got me going. For example, in one of the tabloids this week, there was a news story about how boffins, I took this one because it says boffins, investigated why they say full moons make men like werewolves in as much as it makes our testosterone drop and we have a worse night's sleep. It's not really like a werewolf, is it? It's not. I mean, like, that would be a worse film. Like, coming soon, American Bad Sleeper in London. And I don't think that would be quite as much fun to watch. Oh, I had a terrible night's sleep. I mean, special effects would be better. You don't have to show arms breaking and becoming different, bags under the eyes. What happened to you? Oh, I was bitten by someone who didn't sleep very well, and now I've turned into one. Not as exciting. So we throw that one away. And how about this? Aliens. There was some alien news. There was some footage that came out in America of some actual aliens, actual UFOs. There's the footage. What? If you look at there it is. You can see the little... Okay. And that is apparently definitely an alien and not just a bit crap on the lens. But so that's good news, isn't it? That's aliens. UFOs, scary times, get all excited. And I like space stuff. I've been following what's been happening up on Mars with the Perseverance. Yeah. Who names these things? Is it like a team from The Apprentice? Perseverance. Oh, I'm the best space rover ever. And they managed to get a helicopter to fly on Mars. And there's the footage of the first ever powered flight on Mars. And as we can see, the helicopter takes off. And we're done. There we go. I'm back down. Billions of pounds. Billions for that was worth it, wasn't it? Although, what I like about what we've done there is if there are Martians, we're sending them UFOs. One of those will take a crappy picture of that and be like, it's probably just a smudge on the lens. It's good that we're getting our own back now. But all of this science news that I thought could make me excited, none of it has become quite as good as another franchise, right? The space stuff's not worked. Turns out there's another franchise where the excitement is, and that is the franchise of Colin the Caterpillar. And I didn't realise I should have been paying more attention to this than I was all the Marvel Universe stuff, because Marks and Spencer's beginning legal action against Aldi because they make this Colin the Caterpillar cake, and Aldi make a Cuthbert the Caterpillar cake. Okay. And I don't know if ever you've been a victim of crime. I don't know if you've been sent the crime survey. I was sent the crime survey to fill in for the North Kent area of Gravesham, and I mean, obviously I lied. I'm not going to say I've been a victim of crime. I don't want to make it look like I live in a crime-rife area. It'll ruin the property prices. So definitely lie. Yeah. But I have been a victim of crime. And I think this is a safe space where I can talk about it.
Please.
Because I bought a Cuthbert, the caterpillar cake.
Mm-hmm.
Now I realise. And now I realise.
It's okay. You can. It's okay. It's okay.
The difference. Now I realise I was scammed. I was conned. And now I know you're thinking it's why would a grown man who doesn't have kids buy a caterpillar themed cake? And I'd say to you, well, I like cake, and my doctor says I should eat more greens, and that's what his face is. So I bought one of these cakes, and it turns out I was duped because, as Marks and Spencer's point out, because they look similar, that will lead consumers to believe that they are of the same standard. And I thought they were of the same standard because they both look like caterpillars. I can't believe it. I will never forget where I was when the penny dropped and I realised I'd been duped. I was in Aldi again because I wanted more cake, and I got hungry. And do you know what? It turns out, stupidly, I didn't notice that I wasn't buying a Marks and Spencer's cake. I should have done. There should have been little subtle signs, like the big one that said Aldi. That should have helped me out. Or when I was stood there, I remember thinking to myself, this middle aisle has got a lathe and various tools and scuba diving gear. This doesn't feel like a normal Marks and Spencer's. And yet I didn't cotton on, and I bought the wrong cake. And I feel like an absolute fool about this. And the weird thing is, it's not just those supermarkets that make these cakes. And yet it's the only court case that's happening. So Marks and Spencer's make a caterpillar cake. They're suing Aldi to make a caterpillar cake. In fact, let's go through so we know what we're dealing with. That is not just a Colin... Well, it actually is. That's a Colin the caterpillar cake. That's what you get at Marks and Spencer's. There he is.
Okay.
I mean, technically not as many legs as a caterpillar, but I don't want to be a dick about it. I mean, none of them actually include caterpillars, but let's not, right? And then this is a picture of your Cuthbert.
Okay.
Kind of, you know, it's like a Colin that's been left near a radiator for a bit too long. I see what's going on.
Fair enough.
And that's where the court case, that's where the legal business is happening. And yet they're not suing Waitrose Cecil the caterpillar.
What?
But with a name like Cecil, he either is or knows a good solicitor. So you wouldn't risk that court case. I see what's happening there. And there's also, what other ones we got? Tesco, Curly the caterpillar. With a name like that, he's done time. He knows criminals.
It's Tesco, mate.
Don't mess with me. I will send people around. It's a nice Marks and Spencer's you got there. It'd be a shame if anything was to happen to it. That kind of vibe. So that's why they're not suing Tesco. What else is there? Asda. Clyde the caterpillar. Who's a Labrador? Look at the state of that. It's nothing like a caterpillar. It's
like some sort of sick hybrid.
It is, isn't it? That one, actually, it did remind me of... Did you ever see the film The Fly 2? Terrible sequel to the Jeff Goldblum Fly. And it's got that kind of half hybrid, you know, it's half fly, it's half human, and it's just like... Or did you ever play Duke Nukem, the computer game? Kill me! That, right there. Kill me! So why sue it when the poor thing is a hybrid between a dog and whatever pox it's got on its back? My favourite one, though, that they're not suing... is Sainsbury's, that has Wiggles the caterpillar, which admittedly is not a name. It's what I did that got me thrown out of Sainsbury's. So, how we're up to that.
You wiggled your caterpillar.
Penis joke at the end of the day.
Why do they have to name the cakes? I want to eat the cakes, and then when it's got Wiggles, don't eat Wiggles.
You get the knife just near it. Oh, don't cut me. Oh, what's that, Wiggles? Oh, I want to live. I want to be a butterfly. Who told you about butterflies? It's worse. It's worse to torture them with the sense of hope.
I think Waitrose just knows that the Aldi touch. It's not the same. Maybe it's just a step too far.
It's not, is it? It's got welding goggles on for some reason. Comparing
he looks more like a Wiggles. The eyes do look similar. Is it that they look the same?
Why does that look? Oh, okay, that looks nothing. That's just a
different.
log.
That's different. That's why they called it Curly.
But that one.
That one's the dog. Yeah, you're right. And then
that's close to
you
it.
can't. The Sainsbury's one's hiding. I think Wiggles does look like the Marks and Spencer one, but he's just packaged in a way you can't see his face.
Yeah. Where was Cecil again?
There you go.
Cecil's. You know, he's not a million miles.
Cecil's looks like yeah. I think it's the similarity. That's the problem. It's just, clearly a knockoff. Right. Let's see what the viewers think about all this. This is going back to the Mars helicopter. No doubt there was someone trying to grab the Mars helicopter control saying, hang on, let me have a go, Chuck. Oh, no, go on. I'll give you the crisps in my lunchbox.
Yeah. It is terrible, isn't it? We're just a terrible bunch of people, just humans, that we managed to get the science to send something to Mars. And what do? Send an annoying drone. Like some Martians trying to have a line. Oh, God, no wonder they're going to start a war with us. I'll be on their side.
Yep. Britt says you can totally tell when a full moon is coming when working on mental health personality disorder units. A huge increase in difficult behaviors, but the woman's units affected normally far more.
Really? Interesting. Yeah.
That's
when I saw because it was front page of the Star, or one of the pages of the Daily Star, which I'm using all the time, as you know if you watch this, and it said, men are like werewolves. And I thought, finally, it's explaining what's happening to my back hair. Because I just thought it was me, but it turns out it's werewolves.
It's werewolves. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. Love Colin and his cousins, but they generally aren't as good.
Is that what it is? Do you reckon the best one is M&S? But that proves their court case wrong. No one should think that it's of the same standard if they're doing one that's clearly of a better standard. If there's one that doesn't have, that looks like they've crossed a Dalmatian with a case of the mange, then it's clearly not the same as Colin the Caterpillar one.
The Waitrose one is probably nicer, but no one can afford it.
I think you'll find the Waitrose one, £7, is the same price as Colin the Caterpillar.
Yeah, but the price, you got to pay the door charge to get into the Waitrose. It's 20 quid.
Are you slipping 20 quid to the concierge? This concierge, does he sit down on the floor just outside Waitrose with a sign that says, money for food, please?
What I do like about this entire segment is for anyone outside of the United Kingdom, it just makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Well, it doesn't actually make sense to us either. A bunch of shops have made... This is a flipping Swiss roll cake. It's a round cake. You're going to make it look like a long animal. A caterpillar's a good one to go for, and yet somehow Marks & Spencer's going, what? We invented the idea. Did you?
Yeah. Martin has a suggestion how we solve the whole caterpillar gate. Use a sharp guillotine. The chocolate caterpillars look like they're on drugs.
Don't blame them.
Just off with their heads, and then they all look the same. I'm aware of time because we're running up. So we've got. Thank you for the comments that we didn't get to. Thank you for people who put some money in the Ko-fi. If anybody else wants to have a go at that, we can do that in there. Anything else we need to cover, Steve?
Quick shout out to Chris Curling saying Duke Nukem better than any sport. Yes, we should do a special on the computer game Duke Nukem. I'm gonna rip off your head and shit down your neck. It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. You never play that game?
No.
I can't remember what he says to the third bad guy, but that's what he says when you walk in the room at the end of level bad guy. And I've got to rip off your head and shit down your neck. And then this is on the sports field one, you launch enough rockets, you kill the bad guy collapses, fades out, comes back to a cutscene, he goes up to the bad guy, rips off his head, then you see him lower his shorts, and that's all you see.
And I worry about my son playing Fortnite.
Didn't affect me.
Jesus. Right. Well, we are back at our new late time of 9:30 on Thursday.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
So
share it, Ko-fi it, spread the word, spread the love.
Yep. Like it. Thumbs up.
Bend it, squeeze it any way you want it.
There you go. Send us a caterpillar cake. We'll take anything.
Well, we will at £7 a cake. Well, if you'd like to buy us a cake, yes, please. Right, I think we're all sorted. Should we just say till Thursday?
Until Thursday. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.